All right. And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. The Jaguars defeat the Atlanta Falcons 23-7 on this glorious Sunday, where the Jaguars kicked off the morning at 9:30 a.m. for our annual London game. And the Jaguars come out of this one victorious. So the Jaguars do improve to a 2-2 record. And now there's four different teams tied for first place in the AC South right now at 2-2. So definitely a competitive division. I think some of the teams in the AC South are a little bit better than we thought. I mean, I don't know how the Titans go from getting whooped last week to all of a sudden killing the Bengals. I don't know how the Houston Texans all of a sudden look like they're a pretty good team, and the Indianapolis Colts are consistently playing some good football. So it does look like this may be a pretty competitive division. Something that we may not have seen coming. So shout out to some people in the chat, man. We got CJ, we got Charlie Boy. Texans are good, says Jackson. Yeah, they seem to be good. What is going on, Brett? So yeah, I'm gonna do this similar to last week, man. I'm gonna do this more of like almost a recap video, just without the editing. So I'm not gonna be paying as much attention to the live chat unless I actually like see a super chat or something like that come through. Then at the very end, I will go out there and kind of read some comments before we end it off. So yeah, so today I guess the big story was that look, the defense killed it this game, man. The defense only allowed 7 points, only one drive for a touchdown. And other than that, the Jaguars defense actually scored 7 points too, so it kind of cancels each other out. Darius Williams returned an interception for a touchdown, and then Ritter's very next throw on the next possession, right to Andre Cisco, who returned it, within the 20-yard line, I believe. So a couple of good turnovers for the Jaguars. Cisco's one should have turned into at least 3 points, but we decided to go for it on fourth down, and the rest is kind of history with that one. But defense, got to give them their flowers, man. And now when you look at it, man, 3 out of the last 4 games are very, very good games. And, shout out to Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen, a extremely good game. 3 sacks for Josh Allen. And he even got 1 strip sack later on in the game, man. And, I know a lot of people right now are talking about, does Josh Allen deserve a new contract, all this different stuff. And look, I'm not going to talk about that now. We're kind of going to see the overall body of work at the end of the year. And I think the main thing with Josh Allen that a lot of people dislike is that he's just not very consistent. I mean, like if you look at his sack log this season, 3 sacks the first game, then no sacks in weeks 2 and 3. Then all of a sudden, 3 sacks in week 4 against the Falcons. So, he either shows up in a big way or he is, not present. But, he's definitely the leader when it comes to, the pass rushing group. And, yeah, I mean, just a great game by Josh Allen. I wore his jersey during the game today during the live stream. Put it back on because, I gotta wear it again, man. He had a great game. So some more shout outs, man. Foye Oluokun playing his old team. He had an extremely good game. I think he had 9 tackles. So awesome game by Foye. Tyson Campbell was also really, really good in coverage out there. Darius Williams, like I said, pick 6. He should have gotten another interception later on in the game. So really liked his game. Chad Muma started off a little bit rough, but later on he got his hands on a couple of balls that were tipped up in the air, and there were a couple of them that I think one of the throws, man, if he didn't get his hand on it, it would have been like a 30+ yard reception, and maybe he even runs it in the end zone. So Chad Muma, I thought, bounced back in a good way. And, Trey Herndon, really good game by Trey Herndon. I mean, really, really good blitzer. I'm really impressed with his blitzing ability. But, also there was that one throw in the end zone where I think that, a lot of us try to say, okay, when Antonio Johnson gets back healthy, he needs to play our nickel. We want to give him a chance. But, he made a really, really veteran play today. That throw in the back of the end zone to, I think it was Mac Hollins, the guy caught it up in the air, and if he's not interfered with, he comes down 2 feet inbounds, touchdown. But he took it, instead of trying to swipe the ball out, instead of doing anything like that, he just straight shoves him out of bounds. And that was a 4th down, and it caused a turnover on downs. And at that moment, I was like, all right, we win, because there's no way Atlanta Falcons are going to score 2 touchdowns in a 4-minute span when the Jaguars had the ball. Actually, I think it was more than that. I forget. But yeah, it was good stuff by the Jaguars, man. And, Trayvon Walker recorded the sack. Would still like to see more Trayvon Walker. I mean, he is driving me nuts. This is a victory video, so I'm not going to sit here and, talk bad about him. But would just like to see him maybe get motivated by Josh Allen and just, show a little more. Last year we were like, okay, get an offseason of pass rush moves, will be fine. He's still just straight bull rushing. So I don't know at what point do we just say, you know what, he's not a pass rusher, move him to the interior and let him be one of those guys. But, we'll see. And also big shout out to Mike Caldwell, a defense coordinator, man. Team came prepared today. And, last week the Jaguars weren't really getting pressure with 4 guys. And we weren't really doing much about it. This game he was dialing up blitzes. And, ultimately he held this team to only 7 points and, caused a couple turnovers. So, good call by Mike Caldwell, man, because, if you look at the Atlanta Falcons offense, they got some playmakers, man. Drake London and Kyle Pitts, both first-round picks. Bijan Robinson, first-round pick at running back, held him in check. A little bit over 100 yards, but, he's a really good running back. Algier kept him in check. And then ultimately they said, you know what, we're going to make Desmond Ridder beat us. And Desmond Ridder couldn't really do anything against the defense. So, really good stuff by Mike Caldwell. Shout out to him. Next, I do want to go into the offense a little bit. Now, before I get into the offense, man, I want to give a big shout out to this video sponsor, BetUS. Guys, the Jaguars were 3-point favorites this game. I was worried about this one. I really didn't even want to put any money on it. I wound up saying, you know what? I'm going to predict the Jaguars to win and cover because I can't mentally handle us going 1-3. I can't mentally handle a loss for the Jaguars. But, the Jaguars not only won, but they covered. So they covered by a significant amount. The spread was kind of in between 3 points to 3.5 points. And now the Jaguars are 2-2 on the season, as well as 2-2 against the spread. So in winning efforts, the Jaguars cover, and losing efforts, we don't cover. So, really good stuff for the Jaguars. And yeah, BetUS, man. If you see those words down below. If you sign up with my link in the description box, you're going to receive a 125% deposit bonus. So you put $100 down, you're going to see $225 pop up in your account, and you can use that to throw some money on different games, man. Tonight, Jets, Chiefs, I don't really care about it. Make it a little more interesting. Throw a couple $2, $3 bets there, make it a little bit more interesting. That's kind of my way of doing it. Or you can go big or go home, put down 200. I don't care. I'm not here to tell you guys what to do, but I will just say do everything responsibly. So, yeah, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. And now we're going to get into the offense. Okay, guys? Now, the interior line, or I shouldn't have said that. Now, the offense, sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. Now, the offense, 1 touchdown in the first quarter, and that's all the offense got. 3 field goals after that. And obviously, we got a defensive touchdown. So the offense still not really great at being able to get in the end zone and getting touchdowns. However, I did like the offense a lot more this game. It seemed like we were actually moving the ball. We were converting first downs. We were getting different stuff involved. And look, I say this all the time on my channel, guys. I am not a football expert. I am not. I am literally a fan talking to other fans. You guys in the comment section, whether it's, Jacob, Jaguar Man, Jackson, you guys are all just as qualified to do this stuff as I am. And yeah, so with all that said, I said exactly what the Jaguars needed to do this game, and the Jaguars went out and did it. I said in my preview video, look, if the interior of the offensive line is bad, we need to move the pocket. The Jaguars did that. Trevor Lawrence was rolling around a lot this game. And look, the Jaguars, they love to run the ball. It feels like run. It feels like we're running all the time. But you know what? One beautiful thing that running the ball does is it sets up for the play action. The Jaguars actually utilize play action today. The pass game was struggling a lot, and it felt like because it was really targeting, we were trying to force a lot. I said, you know what? Go back to 2022. Go back to your old reliables. Target Christian Kirk. Target Evan Ingram. Those are your dudes, and you know that. Those guys only combined for 20 targets, 15 receptions, and 143 receiving yards. I also said that, look, if Ben Barch is struggling in this game, set an example. Okay, Ben Barch has been awful. Put in Shatley. Give him maybe 2 drives. If he's not playing good, put in Shatley. Guess what? Ben Barch didn't even get a chance to start today. Tyler Shatley started left guard today. So shout out to that. So, with all that said, I'm not sitting here and saying that because I'm like, oh, guys, look how smart I am. Oh, I called it. No, I'm saying that because this is common sense, man. I am a fan, just a common fan, and I can see that, look, what you're doing, this is what you need to do. It's very simple. Play action, roll the pocket, move around, replace players that are playing bad. And that's what happened. So appreciate that. Now, one little wrinkle that I did not really expect to see is that, look, Trevor Lawrence on the ground today, 8 rushes for 42 yards. He was actually running the ball a lot and it was actually running pretty good. I think that could be a really interesting element to bring into our offense. Now, I'm not saying use this guy like Josh Allen, but, right now, like, the offensive line is shaky. And I think the Jaguars want Trevor Lawrence just to be a, 3-step, 5-step drop quarterback and let the ball rip. But unfortunately, right now, the offensive line just isn't good enough for us to be able to be that team. I mean, the pockets are collapsing quickly. Trevor Lawrence, I thought, did a really good job this day of moving around the pocket and, making plays get open. And yeah, but with that now, like, the defense, you got to set defensive coordinators up where they're like, okay, we got a lot more to expect. We can't just literally pin our ears back and just go after the quarterback and that way. So, I think that'll open up an interesting element. And I'd like to see that. And I like to see Trevor Lawrence knows how to get down and really avoid bad contact, whether it's diving face first in an area or just sliding or just running out of bounds. He's got really, really good, just awareness of the football field. So I thought that was good. Now, while the Jaguars only scored, 1 touchdown today, like I said, just the offense moved a lot better. And ultimately, I think the Jaguars put out a lot of good tape today that they can say, you know what, this is stuff that worked. The last couple of games, we tried some stuff. It's not really working very well. Maybe as we get later in the season and, we understand our offense and our personnel a little bit better, then maybe we can implement some more of that. So, yeah, that's the main thing. Now, my biggest concern right now is that, like, the offensive line really doesn't allow us to go deep. And, when you saw Trevor throw deep balls, it was usually off of scrambles. So it's not really a lot of like drop back and then let it rip, which is unfortunate. But I'm hoping that, look, Cam Robinson comes back next year. We'll move Walker little to the interior. And I don't know. I hope, maybe right now there's some injury. Like, I don't think Brandon Sheriff's even on the injury report. And I didn't really notice much of him today. Anton Harrison, didn't notice too much of him today. It felt like there was just more leakage on the left side. And I don't know. I had to go back and watch it. But, those are just a couple of things. And look, I know there's one throw that's being talked about a lot. There was a play where Trevor dropped back, felt some pressure coming from the left side where Walker Little kind of let his man beat him. The best throw was for Trevor to step up in the pocket and see Christian Kirk going to the left corner of the end zone and let it rip because he was wide open. Would have been an easy touchdown if you throw the ball within 10 yards of Christian Kirk. However, he had to scramble out right because of the pressure, and he wound up throwing the ball deep to Hasty, and it went right over the cornerback's hands, and Hasty reached up, and it went through his hands. And everyone's saying, bad play, should have thrown that to Kirk. I'm like, dude, Trevor Lawrence just threw a dime. Maybe it wasn't a dime over there, but he threw it straight to Hasty, and it went through his hands. And there's people out there like, well, you shouldn't be throwing to Hasty because he's a running back and he's short. You should be. I'm like, guys, do you guys really think that Trevor Lawrence is scrambling and saying, okay, there's a guy. Oh, wait, no, it's Hasty. He's not very good at, no, I'm going to look somewhere else. No, look, he's in the end zone. If you're in the end zone, if you're running routes and you could catch the ball, okay. Hasty had a really good opportunity to get a catch there, and it missed through his hands. And honestly, it was a beautiful ball. And Hasty, I mean, it was high, but had to go over the cornerback. And overall, look, should have been a reception, should have been a touchdown. It wasn't. Just another deep ball from Trevor that goes kind of unnoticed. But overall, I did think that Trevor actually played really well. 23 for 30 passing, 77% completion percentage, 207 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Like I said, he tacked on 42 yards on the ground. And yeah, Jacob, that's the play I'm talking about. He did miss Kirk. If it's good protection, he makes that throw to Kirk, or if he just steps up in a pocket. But at some point, his mental alarm goes off very quickly. So he wants to scramble. And, he wants to move out to kind of allow himself more time. And I'm not going to be mad at it because it was a good throw. It was actually an excellent throw. But unfortunately, it just didn't work that play. So happy with Trevor Lawrence's performance. ETN in the run game just didn't go very well. He had 20 carries for 55 yards, 2.75 yards per carry. So not really much going on in the run game department. Calvin Ridley, only 2 receptions for 38 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, he was covered all game by A.J. Terrell. And look, A.J. Terrell is a really good cornerback, a first-round pick out of Clemson. So, yeah, it seemed like he was pretty much following him. So, with that said, he threw the other players, not really many players even on like the pass reception sheet. Like when I look at the Jaguar stats, only like Christian Kirk, 8 receptions, 84 yards. Ingram, 7 receptions, 59 yards. Calvin Ridley, 2 receptions, 38. ETN, 3 receptions for 17 yards. Luke Farrell, 2 receptions for 10 yards. And then Tim Jones, 1 reception for -1 yards. So only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different players recorded a reception, which is not really a lot. But, hopefully the Jaguars, I imagine they get Zay Jones back. I know he's out in London. Also Jamal Agnew is hurt. And also Parker Washington unfortunately for him, he had an opportunity to, showcase what he has at punt returner, but he got hurt on his very first punt return. So didn't really get to see much out of the rookie there, unfortunately. So, Christian Kirk was back there doing punts later in the game. Thank you. The great mistake Bozos said congrats on 17,000. I hit 17K subscribers today, guys. Appreciate all you guys for helping make this the biggest Jags channel out there, man. It was awesome stuff. So yeah, overall red zone struggles definitely are real. We don't like this, the short yardage stuff. We don't have any play calls for it, man. And it's just weird because this draft, they said, look, we have issues in short yardage plays. You know what we're going to do? We're going to draft a tight end who can help block, and we're going to draft a running back that can get those short yardage carries. But Tank Bigsby isn't in on those plays. So I don't know how to fix it, man. I mean, honestly, the offensive line just has to push. I'm not someone that's saying, you know what, bring a different running back in there. The running back's going to make holes for himself. I don't know, but they got to figure something out because just the 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, they're just not really going for us. And we'll have to figure something out there. So, we'll talk more really later on this week about, this upcoming matchup against the Bills. Going to be a huge game. As you guys know, the Jaguars are 2-2 with an opportunity to potentially go 3-2. Now the Bills are a part of our first place schedule. We're the only team in the AFC South that plays them, while the other guys get, Patriots, Jets, those teams, the Dolphins. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man, but it's a huge game. And look, we're going to talk about it more, but for now, it's a victory Sunday. Tomorrow's victory Monday. Enjoy it. Look, we had 2 really bad week 2 and week 3s. Not very fun, but now we're back. We're back to 500. Look, if we can reach the halfway point in the season at 4-4, 500, we're in a good spot. Then we got to start getting hot, get some winning streaks. I think if you get to 10 wins, you're going to be in a playoff. So it's a race for 8 more wins. And ultimately just let's handle business. Let's go out there for the Bills next week, and let's just enjoy this, man. So yeah, with all that said, I'll take a couple questions. Jared says, you don't win the trenches, it's going to be a long year. Yeah, and we're kind of seeing that. And this game, the offensive line was definitely weak, but I think we found ways to kind of get around it. Like I said, rolling Trevor out, trying to play action, even running around, having Trevor Lawrence run around out there a little bit. Also, guys, please drop a like for me if you guys can. Would be awesome. The Texans schedule is so easy. Yeah, and the AFC North is looking pretty easy too. I mean, you don't know what to expect out of the Browns. The Bengals are a mess. The Ravens aren't super impressive. And the Steelers might have, I don't know how long Kenny Pickett's out for, but he looks like a pretty serious knee injury. So we'll see. Bro, the rest of the division has such an easy schedule. It's going to be hard to win a division. We'll be fine, man. Just honestly, we got to worry about our business, and we got to go out there and defeat these teams. Look, we have 4 more games against the AFC South. Okay, go out there, handle business, and move on. You know what I mean? Matt Zaniga, 2-2 is not ideal, but it's fine. Plenty of time left in the season. Yeah, 2-2. Like I said, man, if you're 4-4 at the midway point, you're in a good spot. Okay, obviously you want to be a little bit better than that, but if you can skate around 500 for the first half of the schedule, and then in November, December get hot, similar to what we got hot in November, December last year, but we didn't come in. We didn't go into it 500, but yeah, absolutely. Brett says, who would you rather play in the first round of the playoffs if we make it that far? No idea, man. No idea. I mean, we'll have to see. We'll see with the Bills, man, because the Bills, they're a tough team, but for some reason, we may be a good matchup against them. And you see with the Jets, like when the Jets play the Bills, it's a terrible matchup for them. And the Jaguars seem to have the Bills number a little bit. So, I'm not sure on that. How stupid do we look passing on Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Branch? Well, definitely Aiden Hutchinson. I agree with you on that. But all right, guys, I'm going to end it here. I don't want this recap video to be too long. I do want this to have some reviewability as opposed to being like a podcast. But thanks, guys, for being here. Shout out to all you guys. Drop a like on your way out. Go Jags. Enjoy your victory Sunday and Monday.